Welcome back to Case Break Analysis. I'm JT with another Case Break simulation. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time watching my videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this product down, give you a review, give you kind of a buy it, yes or no answer. Also break down some of the prices that you might want to pay if you buy into team breaks. What is SPX? SPX is sort of a legendary product, which I believe that Upper Deck has used to innovate in the past. It is the product that the first Wayne Gretzky autograph card appeared in, sort of an iconic, I believe it's dual visual from 1998, I think. Also in 98, I think that was the 97, 98 product, the 98, 99 product, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, but if I'm not, this was also, SPX was also the first product, SPX Hockey specifically, was the first product to ever feature a memorabilia card, a relic, jersey card as they were called. Back then they were worth a fortune because they were so iconic. Now they're essentially throwaway cards, but Upper Deck has used this. These used to be some really high-end die-cut cards with a lot of holographic materials. You don't see a lot of holographic stuff anymore, but what these cards have kind of become are Upper Deck's like futuristic, higher-end set. They use foil accents in certain kind of interesting ways. They make futuristic designs, and they put an emphasis on relics and autographs. But I kind of feel like Upper Deck does that with every product now. So you only get 4 packs per box, 1 card per pack. I don't even know why they bother putting 4 packs in there when you get 1 card per pack. I never understood some of that, but you get 20 boxes per case, which is actually a lot. Upper Deck tends to have higher counts of boxes, even if their packs are rather light. You're going to get an autograph. You're going to get 2 autograph memorabilia cards per box and 2 tech cards, which who knows what a tech card is. The main set's 100 cards, but they are numbered to 299. So Upper Deck is a company that does like to number their base cards. I feel like the print runs in some Topps and Panini high-end products that are similar to this also have low print run base sets, but they don't number them. And Upper Deck does make it a point to number them. And the parallels in this set are not going to be color parallels. They're actually jersey, autograph, or patch auto parallels, and then the 1-of-1 premium patch auto, which I'm sure looks great. Rookies come in I believe there's a rookie auto and a rookie jersey auto, and it might even be a rookie jersey. Not 100% sure. I have to go back and look at the checklist, but you can see this autograph here that you're looking at is digitally signed. This is something that maybe the player signed on an iPad for an E-set, an E-card. But this is a physical set, so that would be on card. Now, there's a lot of discussion in the marketing materials about whether or not a card is hard signed. So in the time I've been doing this, a couple months now, I've noticed that certain language gets used when there's going to be a lot of stickers and certain language gets used when there's not. In this case, I have a hunch that there might be a lot of stickers, but I'm not 100% sure because they don't divulge that information. But there are at least 4 sets that they claim are hard signed. Shadowbox is an awesome set. This is something I'm actually going to look to collect. It contains an acetate cover. Shadowbox, I can't remember when it came along. Maybe in the late 2000s, 08, 09, somewhere around there. Pretty innovative technology for the time. Upper Deck tends to lead the way in a lot of these new ideas. And the Shadowbox actually found its way into Topps products. Topps Strata, one of those two, wound up having Shadowbox designs where the autograph was on one layer of acetate, then a couple layers of acetate lower, deeper. There was a player picture, then a couple layers of acetate. And they kind of layer these things like that. That's the Topps version. This Shadowbox version is just a thick card that's kind of hollowed out, or it's what they do is they layer a bunch of card stock, and then but some of those layers have holes in the middle like this, and then they put a piece of acetate over the top. And so that's what a Shadowbox. I mean, that's really what a Shadowbox is. You've seen Shadowboxes when, for example, you put a flag in one of those triangular frames. That's a Shadowbox, or military members retire. The rookie scripts and the rest of the cards here, other than the UD Black stuff, which we'll talk about separately, they don't really have a very big appeal. The aesthetic is not that great. It's pretty forgettable, and that's a shame because this is a good product. SPX, I feel like of all the times you're going to hear me complain about die cut cards, I don't actually think die cut cards are collectible anymore. This product should have die cut cards because it's SPX and it's legendary. I mean, this goes back to the 90s and has how many sets came out in the 90s that you just totally throw away. SPX is something that when you see it, it just has that appeal. It was what a high-end set was supposed to be in the 90s, and it needs to return to form. These are somewhat forgettable. This double XL materials type thing, we've seen this in every product. It's, you know, an action shot, which I do appreciate, not having just standard photos, but having the action shots of the players. But then really on what? There's no background. It's just kind of the design is ho-hum, forgettable stuff. So largely, while it does have these large swatches, I think this is pretty forgettable design-wise. Now, UD Black is something that we've seen as its own set in the past, is now in as a subset of SPX, and Obsidian is kind of a subset of UD Black. So it's like SPX, UD Black, Obsidian, and this is actually the most I've ever said Obsidian in 1 week in my entire life, because Obsidian for Panini came out for football, so I've been saying that word quite a lot. Now, that's a patch version of that. Now, Lustrous, that's a cool set. Comes with these more elegant patches, higher end patches. Again, a digital signature on this marketing image, but in the real, hopefully in the real set, this is going to be hard signed and not a sticker, but we'll see. And again, same thing here with the white version of the Lustrous. And then these Pride of the Nations, FYI, this is a manufactured patch, not game used or game worn or anything like that. Another digital signature here, but hopefully hard signed on that one too. I don't think manufactured patches are cool. I don't actually like them, but if you do like them, leave a comment in the comments and I will address it. I think they're stupid. This this case costs $25.49 at Steel City, and that is a price that I use because it allows breakers to get their distribution discount and have a markup. I don't know if that price is 100% accurate for breakers, but that's what I use. And what we want to do here is we want to say, of the teams that have autographs in this set, how many autographs do they have? And if we were to treat all of those autographs the same, not considering who the subject of the auto is, and we distributed the cost of the case across all the autos, how much should you pay by team? Well, in this case, there are 5,911 Sabres autographs, which means that if all autographs were the same price, distributed to equal $25.49, you should pay around $200 for the Sabres. I think that's a reasonable price, and the distribution of cost for this is actually pretty reasonable for the probability of you pulling a hit. And the reason why I break it down like this is, again, for probability. You want to pay more for a higher probability of a hit. You might think you want to pay more for rarer cards, but that's a backwards way of looking at it, because if you enter a break with the cards that are the most rare, your chances of pulling those cards are very low. Now, you could get a hit, and that's gambling. And you don't want to gamble. You want to make smart purchases and go into these breaks and buy some of these hobby boxes and cases with a lot of knowledge about what you're getting. So with this, you're going to get 500 to 600 more Sabres cards if you bought every case. And here's the order that they go in. So this is total number, and this is me estimating and calculating. And in this case, I calculated the print run. I think I did a pretty good job. So I'm about 80% confident that these print runs are accurate. And that's only because I do have to make some guesses. But what you probably know is that there's 97 unique autograph cards from the Sabres. But if you look at the print run, there's actually almost 6,000. Same thing for all these. So you could see, like the Kings, for example, they have 78. They should technically be right underneath the Senators. And you should be thinking that that's the third best team in the break. It's actually not, because if you take the print run into account, a lot of low ones, one of ones, one of fives, one of tens, instead of one of 299 and one of 199. Now we're talking that the Kings are actually down there at number 6. So this is 1 through 10, and then we'll go and we'll look at 11 through 20. This is for autographs. This is 11 through 20. Take screenshots and use this in your purchases so that you are able to make smarter purchases. I don't have the Kraken's logo yet, but I'll get it. And here are 21 through 30. and then the remaining two teams. Now, the Edmonton Oilers are very low. The Connor McDavid has like, I don't know, maybe 40 autographs, 40 cards. I think he's only got 3 different types of cards in this set. So don't go crazy buying the Oilers. You're definitely not going to get that hit, because when we talk about probability in statistics, we're talking about you're more sure you're going to get something, and it is almost impossible for you to pull that card. Of course, someone's going to pull Connor McDavid autographs. I'm telling you, the probability is low. Avoid it. So we could do the same thing for memorabilia cards. A lot of great memorabilia here. Different set of teams, though. If you're hunting memorabilia, go with the Ducks, the Rangers, the Panthers, Canadians. And if you're a memorabilia collector, try to avoid the Islanders and the Blue Jackets, the Kraken, the Flames. Very few cards there. So there it is for memorabilia. And for non-autographed insert cards, this does include parallels that aren't autographed. The Senators have the most insert cards in the set, then the Sabres, Ducks, Rangers. The least amount is going to be the Islanders with absolutely 0, and then the Leafs, Capitals, Stars. The Oilers are low on that one too. So again, I know that maybe there's other teams to chase here, but a lot of people ask about the Oilers. Keep in mind that the print run of the Oilers cards is super low. There's not a lot of them, so there's that. Now, that's all and good. We don't treat autographs the same. We actually value autographs and other cards based on the player that's on the card, because that's the way collecting cards works. So how do we calculate whether or not a team actually has a strong checklist? Well, I've done that for you. I go in and I scour the internet. I do what's called scraping to figure out how many searches for sports cards and memorabilia are done by each player, by their name. And I then give each player in the checklist a grade, 1 through 5. That grade determines how strong the checklist is, because a 1 and a 2 means that that player is not being searched for. People are not looking for their cards or their memorabilia on collectible websites like eBay or Check Out My Cards. And what's happening is you're selling cards at a loss. Those players who I assign those scores to, 1 and 2, you're selling at a loss, or maybe you're not selling at all and they're just sitting in your collection. Now, a player that has a 4 or a 5, that's a highly profitable player. That's someone like Connor McDavid or Wayne Gretzky. And so you're likely to see a positive ROI, or you're likely to see a quick sale. And so those are some of the ways that those sets, that this grading system works for each player, not the sets, the player. However, this set, it kind of falls short in all of these products are graded on the exact same scale. So if players are popular but they don't have a lot of interest, it's normalized. So they should show up as a 4 or a 5. Well, this set only has 19% of the autograph checklist falling within a 4 or a 5. That's very low. That is one of the lowest I've seen so far, and that's a shame because SPX is such a great product. However, I think there's a lot of good memorabilia in this set, and I think there's a lot of room for you to make some money, some ROI based on the cards in the memorabilia and the insert sets. However, there's a pretty poor showing for the autographs. Although you're not paying what you are for Panini, which is charging like $8,000 for Prism, you're only paying $2,500 here, $2,600. So if we distribute that cost that I just mentioned across the strength of the checklist, instead of counting each autograph as equal, now we distribute the cost based on 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 unevenly. That way, we're paying more for strong teams and less for weaker teams. And that includes the print run. So again, the Sabres are going to be on top because not only do they have more 4s and 5s than all the other teams, but the print run of those 4s and 5s is also very high. So if you were to count the Sabres as the top strongest team, paying between 178 and that 200, about 199 that I mentioned in the previous table, I think you'd be doing okay there. 178, that's a decent price for one team, especially considering that some of these teams they're so weak, like the Maple Leafs. There's such a weak team in the autograph department that you probably want to save your money. So be careful when you're buying teams like, oh yeah, Austin Matthews. Okay, I'm going to go buy that. Sidney Crosby. Well, hold on. Either they're not in this product or they have a very low print run. Like maybe there's one that's a 1 of 1 and that's it. That's why I'm saying if you get into a team break, the distribution of dollars for that case spread across the strength, it's showing that you should not pay that much for these teams here. This is the lowest, the bottom 10 teams. Yes, there are Connor McDavid autographs, but they are worth a good amount. They're not plentiful enough for the probability of you getting that hit to be high. With distribution of autographs by the strength of the checklist, here's 1 through 10. Here is 11 through 20. And here is 21 through 30. We can do the same thing for the inserts. Here's 1 through 10. Just take screenshots along the way. That way you have this information. These are the strongest teams. This is 11 through 20 by insert card. And then we can do the same thing by the strength of the parallels. Now, so that's the rank of the teams by strength of checklist for the insert cards, parallels, and the autographs. But we also have, I can rank them by the whole product, and that is when we kind of combine the strength by each of them, which one comes in first place. So the Red Wings appear to be the strongest team all around. So even though they're the third strongest in autographs, which really is your kind of primary factor when you're buying into these breaks, they are the number 1 team for inserts and the number 16 for parallels. So that makes them the best team in the break. And so this is kind of your order by strength of checklist. Remember, that is a metric about popularity and ROI and things like that. So even though the Sabres have the most cards, by strength of checklist, they're actually number 11. So that's 11 through 20, and then 21 through 30. And so that's it on the strength of checklist. And now we'll talk about interest over time. Okay, and with interest of this product of SPX over time, what this chart should show you is how long you have before selling becomes much of a priority. And you can see that in like the earlier releases or accumulative aggregation of a lot of the interest in these cards, it used to tend to kind of just fade off after about 30 months, 35 months. So you had a long time and there was a lot of interest. And when you see like a gradual decline like that, that's pretty good. But when you see these steep cliffs, like this one right here is concerning, which means that this SPX product, other than maybe the earlier years, like 2015, not the earlier years of the product, but I'm only searching 10 years. So 13 and 14 actually came out with very low search results. 15, however, it seems that lasted around 35 to almost 40 months. But then subsequent year releases, a lot of the interest falls off very, very sharply, very, very quickly. So I'm guessing the release date, and this is just in January of each of those years that it's released. And then all of the subsequent months after. I know this is a hard to read chart because it should be on a 12-month scale, but it's not. It's saying that this is 2015, January 2015, and then 60 months later. So each of these are kind of on the same scale, which is why you don't see 2020 go much further than, because it starts and then it only goes for a few years because it's 2023 right now. So what happens is this product's probably released around right here, and then with 2015 it tails off. But with years after that, especially more recent years, there's interest for a few months. Maybe I should put a more axis numbers here, but that's probably around 5 months, 5 to 8 months. And so after 5 to 8 months, it really doesn't have a lot of popularity. So that kind of tells you as an investor when you should offload these cards. Does 5 to 8 months give you enough time to get your cards graded and then get them back and sell them? Probably not. So you might want to look into selling more raw cards or getting rid of them right away. Now, I talked about those scoring systems 1 through 5. There's actually no ones in this product. So kudos to Upper Deck for trying. I believe that like with a set like Radiance, they did attempt to put only good players in there. They did fail in some regard because there are 2s in there. But how would they know what the interest is going to be? But this set kind of sits around a 3. That's your average. It's going to be your mode for sure. Your median's going to fall somewhere, I don't know, right in here. And then and that's just how it is. It skews towards the lower end, and that's just how this set is distributed across the scores 1 through 5. So is it a profitable set? Not really. And that's why it gets that score, that 2.9. You'll make some money on some cards, but those cards tend to be more rare. Whereas the cards that you're gonna receive in breaks you join into or boxes you buy, you'll probably get a lot of fluff and cards that you're gonna be disappointed about. So let's just talk about the checklist as a whole. The number of cards per team that you're going to see here. Number of unique cards is a way that you might have seen it in a lot of checklists, but we're going to look at it by print run. I was able to figure out the print run for most of these. This is going to include memorabilia, autograph, base, and insert cards for each team. This is the total amount of cards. If you were to buy every case of SPX, you would receive 16,605 Ottawa Senator cards. And then this is how they are by team. This is 1 through 10, and then here's 11 through 20. Take your screenshots if you need them, and then here's 21 through 30, and then the final two teams right there as far as the lowest print runs. So your most common, highest probability team to at least get base cards, Senators, and there's probably a lot of inserts and memorabilia in there too. Now, if we break it down by print run for all teams, there are 421 one-of-ones. That is around average for Upper Deck. But it shows you that one-of-ones aren't particularly rare. I think that if they have anywhere between 15 and 2,500 cases of this, which I'm going to guess is around 2,000 cases, based on some of the autograph pack odds that they put out, it's around 2,000 cases, maybe 1,800 to 2,000. Well, you're talking about getting a one-of-one every 5 cases. So not great, but definitely not rare. So consider that. And then there are some rarer cards, like a 1 of 3. There's only 15 total. So consider yourself lucky if you get a 1 of 3. It's actually more rare than getting a 1 of 1. It's fun to get that, fun to talk about that. And then let's look at teams. If you are searching for those 1 of 1s, which who isn't, because 1 of 1s are awesome, go for the Sabres, the Ducks, the Senators, the Avalanche, and in that order. And here are the teams with the lowest amount of 1 of 1s. The Islanders only have 1, so obviously it could be that you have to buy every case just to get that Islander 1 of 1. Blue Jackets, Maple Leafs, Kraken, those are your lowest teams, but these are your highest teams. So go ahead and use that when you make your purchases. Card types. So the rarest cards in the set are going to be the ones with a low print run and low checklist. So there might be multiple UD Black, Pride of the Nation, Spectrum parallels, but, and I think this is more an update from another product. Let's go to this Superscripts. Superscripts is actually part of SPX. And so there might be multiple rookie subscripts, but there's only one that's a 1 of 1. And that means that if you get a 1 of 1 rookie subscript, you've got the rarest card in this set. If you get a 1 of 1 SPX rookie signatures, you've also got a tie for the rarest card in the set. And if you, this is an update, let's go find one that's not an update. If you get this one, Pride of the Nation Spectrum Parallel, that is number 2-1. Is that the same? Pride of the Nation? No, UD, okay. Oh, that was an update one. I'm like confusing myself here. If you get the UD Black Pride of a Nation Spectrum Parallel that is actually SPX and not an update from a previous set, and you'll have, that's one, there's one, they're all 1 of 1s, but there's 5 of them. So that's kind of how you read that. Just what is the rarest card? That's really what I'm getting at. I think I'm starting to confuse people because I'm babbling, but that's the point there. So I do run case break simulations. I take the pack odds. I take the print runs. I take what they say is going to be in each pack, whether it's a memorabilia or autograph card or a base card or a tech card, as they call them. And then I build out these simulations. I do 20 of them, but first I'm going to show you case 20. It's one case break. It's the 20th case in my 20 case break simulation, just to show you that I did this. So I did not get any 1 of 1s. I got a 1 of 5, and it is a Patrick Kane winning materials, premium material parallel. And that was in case 20, obviously. Got a bunch of autographs. Here's some of the autographs, and here's some of the names that you can expect to see. The reason why I show you this is not to say, look what I got, because this is fake. This is a simulation. It's to show you this is a realistic example of what a case break will look like when they're done. As long as I got my print runs correct, and they're doing collation in essentially a organized but random way, then this is similar to what you should see. And what that means is that because I got 8 Panthers, you might see in one case break a high amount of Panthers, Rangers, Flyers. and you might see a low amount of ducks and coyotes and or coyotes. I don't know if it's coyotes or coyotes. Flames, stars, Oilers. A breaker I used to watch a lot says coyotes, and I've always called them the coyotes, so don't criticize me. I'm just going off what he said because he's Canadian. So this is a realistic example of the number of cards you should see. I didn't get any one of ones. I'm just showing interesting cards because someone had expressed interest in seeing what type of cards at the interesting level I was getting. And in one case, I got a few shadow boxes, got some shadow box autographs, lustrous obsidian, pretty cool stuff there for hits. And in the 20 case break simulation, I got 4 one-of-ones. And so what that should tell you is, just like I said, you would probably need 5 cases in order to get one of one. Well, I did a 20 case break simulation, and it turned out to be just like what I said. I got 4 one-of-ones in 20 cases. So just to get 4 one-of-ones, you'll probably have to buy 20 cases, or to get one, you'd have to be in 5 case breaks. That's realistic. I mean, based on those odds and based on the fact that there are about 420 one-of-ones, that's what you should get. Now, here are some of the notable cards I got. I'm really interested in those shadow boxes, and I would love to buy some off of you guys if you get them. The autos might be out of my price range until my YouTube channel starts making me some money, which who knows if it ever will. Probably not. But I would like to buy some of these base cards. But here, so I got some in this 20 case break simulation. I got a whole bunch, a couple pages worth, 36 mixed between the base insert and the rookie auto version of the shadow box. Not bad. In those 20 cases, and this will kind of smooth out some of the anomalies on those teams, the Sabres were the top team. So the Sabres do have the most cards in SPX, and I did get the most Sabres cards when I do 20 case breaks. That's how we see kind of this smoothing out of anomalies. Here's the top teams that I got by in a realistic 20 case break simulation. And here are the teams I got the least cards of in a realistic 20 case break simulation. So go ahead and use this information when you're making a purchase. And then those 4 one-of-ones are there. So just so you know which teams they came from, those are the teams. So does that give you any confidence in the probability that you'll get? Probably not, because it's not enough. But that's what it is. And then we look at the 20 case break simulation broken down by what type of card we got by team. So 44 autographs for the Sabres, 38 for the Senators, then the Avalanche, King, Lightning, Rangers, and the least amount of autographs I got were from the Oilers, Krakens, Jackets, Islanders, Canucks. I've been talking for a long time. I got to slow it down. The insert cards, most inserts I got were for the Sabres. Here's the least amount. Just take screenshots so that you can use this. I don't need to go over all the teams. It would just be me listing teams off constantly. And then the Canadians for memorabilia, Ducks, Rangers, Avalanche, and then the lowest number. There you go. And now my overall recommendations for this product. I think SPX has such a great, rich history that Upper Deck needs to focus more time on this product. I don't think that this SPX is really that great. I think the checklist lacks. The autograph checklist very much lacks. Lustrous looks cool, but a lot of the designs here are forgettable. I don't know that there's a huge shot at these cards becoming iconic or memorable rookie cards that you're going to see in the headlines. Like, oh, everyone's searching for this one card. No, I don't think that's probably going to happen. Although I will buy some shadow box cards. I think they're very nice looking, and I like acetate cards in general. So if you're a casual collector, buy personal. I don't really see the need to buy into breaks. You probably, unless you're a huge Sabres fan, you might not really see a good return on that. A casual collector like myself, who I collect a lot of Chicago teams, Blackhawks, for example, I probably wouldn't buy the break here because I'd rather just have a plethora of cards that I can add to my collection than just having a few onesie-twosie Blackhawks cards. Even if the chance of getting a hit is there, I don't really think it's worth the gamble, and that's what it would be, a gamble. People who like to get cards graded, yeah, sure, buy into the breaks, get the cards you want, knock them off your checklist, send them in, get them graded. But again, if you're going to do that, you don't have a lot of time. 5 to 8 months probably before people start to move on to other products. So be careful when you send them in. Make sure you do the express grading. Investors, I added a new thing here. I don't think it's really worth buying either of these for the investor. However, I don't think it's worth not buying at all. I'd say buy the singles. If you're an investor, you know who's hot, who's not, who's going to be good. Buy the singles once they hit the market, and then just sit on them. Set builders, I wouldn't buy this set. It's numbered to $299. It's possible that you can build the base set, but I wouldn't try it. I don't think it's worth it when there are better products out there to do set building with in the hockey domain. Kids, yeah, not worth it. It's probably too expensive, and you're only going to get 4 cards per box. Typically, a kid would buy a pack or a hobby box. Their parents might buy it for them, or the kid has a job. I don't know. And I'm not talking about kids who are collectors. I'm talking about kids who like don't know how to take care of their cards. They get damaged. It's not worth it. 4 cards, and they're all going to be high-end cards. I wouldn't do it. Team breaks, yes. Random team breaks. Don't buy into random team breaks on this product only because the disparity between the Sabres and then the lower teams is too great. If you might, and this is purely financial advice to you. I don't care. Like, if you like random breaks, hey, by all means, get into them. But I'm telling you from a financial perspective, the likelihood that you'll make an ROI is too low. So that's up to you, but I would recommend staying away from random breaks. That is 2021-22 Upper Deck SPX Hockey. Thanks for joining me. Let me know in the comment section what you like and don't. Bye.